to get a bit into why I traded RTY today. Probably one of the more clear frameworks. Didn't have the best follow through, but it did have a really nice follow through. But I kind of mismanaged this trade. Still a winning trade and all that, but let's just get on the 4-hour chart here, or just let's start on daily real quick. So let me show you why I like this is super easy. Right? When I come into the session at around 9:30, we had these lows, right? We're not going to manipulate this low. I mean, it's pretty obvious we're going to go to this low. So that's my draw on liquidity, and that's really nice to see that as an open objective, right? When I look here, previous daily range here, right? We're staying in the lower half. Really, all you got to do is pay attention to the wick size, right? Small wick supports expansion lower, so I drop lower. I'm trading within a 6 candle again. I'm trading a reversal candle. Why am I doing that? Well, it's much like I did on NQ, trading like literally the very end of this reversal candle, holding through and anticipating an expansion candle at 10 a.m. Because of these open objectives, and we put in a reversal, right? We put in the high of day within 6 a.m. candle. So when you go back to this example here, same thing. Daily wick is created from manipulation paired with an SMT and a driver. So at the 1-hour chart, you can see it a little bit better. So you see this relevant swing, these relevant swings. These are all relevant swings, by the way, because they're spaced apart from each other. So none of these are really failure swings. Right? When you think about failure swings, they're close proximity highs and lows. Especially this one, like the space between this, like this is when you're normally going to get your actual reaction from these like relevant swings that are spaced apart, because when this gets cleared here, these are not relative equal highs and lows, so there's no reason to like return back to these levels, right? So this is a 9:30 candle, right, or the 9 o'clock candle, 1-hour candle here, and within this candle we have 9:30 obviously. So when you pair manipulation with this, right, with SMT, like I said, creating the high of the day, that's really nice, right? Then we can create high resistance, expand to low resistance. So again, I'm trading within the last hour of this 6 a.m. candle, expecting prices open up, open low. And then I'm using the same type of entry confirmation here with the, as far as the SMT goes. So I'm going to show you. So when I look here, right, remember that this is the weaker asset. We created a lower low, right, after taking this out. ES or YM took out this high. So when that strength switches, when YM starts to show weakness after hitting that relevant level, that's showing me that YM wants to go lower, right? And obviously the weaker asset in RTY will go lower. So I'm really just entering on like first stage distribution here, right? We have the low risk sell, or the CSD, confirming reversal, and then we're getting confirmation, right? We're breaking down lower, creating fair value gaps, showing the willingness to trade away. And fair value gaps are like, they're showing displacement kind of in a way. So I'm getting in here, literally the last 3 minutes of this 6 a.m. candle. So I'm really just betting that the 10 a.m. candle forms its wick from the opening price of 10 a.m. all the way to this high here. So as long as the candle opens and creates its wick within this range, right? Because in distribution, we don't expect deep retracements, right? If we already put in a reversal, I'm not even expecting EQ of this range low to this range high to get hit. That's like an invalidation. You don't want to see that. That's why I don't like OTE. It doesn't really make sense, because in true distribution, we don't get these like deep pullbacks, right? Whoops. Let me put this back. God damn it. What the hell is going on here, man? Why can't I like grab this? Whatever. Okay. So yeah, and also, when you look here, from the reversal point to the actual target, we just take EQ of this range. We're displacing through it, and at the point of this pullback into this level, this is always a great thing to see. Right now, we're having failure swings, right, at this point, so it makes even more sense to go lower. And like I said, we have this daily failure swing, bunch of failure swings, right? High resistance, low resistance, very clean. I want to get in, high in the range before we take out this low, and it's not like this is not likely to happen, right? You can anticipate 10 a.m. forming this CSD, right? But again, you're entering lower in the range, and then you also have this, you don't want this to happen, right? Where we just melt off, and look at this here. You're pretty much just at left, because you kind of can't market execute this unless you put your stop loss here, which is not favorable, or here, way too big of a stop loss. Now, this is like mechanically valid, my model here. I don't even know if it goes 2R. I don't think it does, man. It doesn't quite go. And then you have this one as well, which, if you guys know in my course, I don't like to enter after we take out objectives like this, but this is a continuation, kind of like what AM looks for. So look here. This goes 2R if you got the retest. And this is valid, mechanically my model right here. Right? But if you, took this, unfortunately, like, that's probably a loss right there. Or maybe you get break even or whatever. But yeah, I like to get in prior to us taking out all these lows, right? I have too much things aligned, right? For me just to not get in, right? And like I said, yeah, I'm entering in, a reversal candle on the 4-hour time frame, but I don't have to have it expand really. I just have to get in, within that wick really. Like if I go to the 4-hour time frame, I'm getting in within this wick as long as you have your stop loss at an invalidation point for the 10 AM candle. Because remember, we expect, if there's going to be expansion candle, we expect a small wick, right, in this 10 AM candle. So as long as you can, put your stop loss at a point where it makes sense. So like I'm putting my stop loss around here. 10 AM candle, like that's a very nice move, right? This is probably above the EQ of the 6 AM wick. So it just makes sense, right? You can already anticipate the wick forming it, within this stuff because we're already in distribution, right? And with the new 10 AM open, we should just melt, right? So I wanted this here, my trail right here. I was looking for -4 standard deviation, but yeah, it came back. But still a good trade. Yeah, hopefully this helps you guys.